southern trees bearing strange fruit, blood on the leaves and blood at the roots, black bodies swinging in the southern breeze, strange fruit hanging from the poplar trees. Pastoral scenes of the gallant South, them big bulging eyes and the twisted mouth, scent of magnolia, clean and fresh. Then the sudden smell of burning flesh. Here's a fruit for the crows to pluck, for the rain to gather, for the wind to sigh, for the sun to rot, for the leaves drop. Here is a strange and bitter cry.
Hi and welcome to Neamos. We're here at this wonderful live stream event this evening called Purpose. And purpose, that is what Nia is. It's a Swahili word, and it is a celebration of black excellence, reflecting on the impact of black art on the world and continuing to carry on creating the legacy by creating beauty. And this particular live stream performance tonight is including chamber music written by black composers, actually the one sat over there, Mr. Gary. And we have dance and we have singing, we have dance from Mayisha, we have poetry, we have storytelling, and we have experiences of lots of black people in the community, and of course singing too. And this forms part of Neamos, which is Neamos's series of unfortunate events. which is a series of live stream events produced by Neamos, and that is actually in an attempt to continue creating projects amidst the current chaos we all find ourselves in. So, and it's even better, if you like, because October has been designated Black History Month. And whilst this event tonight, Purpose, is not a specific Black History Month event, I think it's much, much more, because as far as I'm concerned, it's a celebration of black art that could and should take place in any month, any day, any year. And all of these wonderful performers here tonight are going to just prove just why and how that is so, so important. And so, here we go. I'm going to be here this evening chatting to the wonderful artists that I've just mentioned before. And I think we should just let them do just a little introduction. So we start over here.
Hi, my name is Mayisha Kungu. Mayisha is also a Swahili word. It means life, and Nyawira means hardworking girl, which is a Kikuyu word. That's two of my family names there. My grandma is also called Mayisha.
Wow.
And I am a contemporary dancer, tap dancer. I also do improvising. I really love working with music. I also made these tapestries behind us. So
this woman is an absolute, I'm not going to say jack of all trades, because she excels at all of them. And with those names and the meanings of those names, I think it sort of set you off on life, definitely. It's on the path to positivity. Sitting next to Mayisha, we have an artist who goes by the name of Not For Many.
Yeah.
But for you and I this evening, we'll call him Mayo.
Mayo's alright for tonight, do you know what I mean? But yeah, Not For Many is the artist name. And I'm a producer, musician, vocalist, and I just do music.
Producer, music, vocalist, what sort of genre? Any genre?
Yeah.
All genres?
Yeah, any genre, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, literally, I produce all types of music.
Okay, but
With
what
types of artists.
Oh, I see.
Yeah.
So
all
you're
types
just...
Literally.
So you're the guy who comes in and puts the cream on the top then? Or are you writing the stuff and getting people to do it at the same time?
Yeah, I think I might get something started and then, well, you never know what happens, and then someone else comes in and then they add something, and I'm always collaborating with people.
Okay, good. Collaboration. And all the way from America, we have Gary, who is our classical composer. Well, he composes everything too. I think you do I've got to call you a mishmash of all of the genres, with classical on the top, jazz in there, soul, blues, everything, hailing from New Orleans. Introduce yourself.
Well, my name is Gary Washington. I was actually, New Orleans is the place where I became an adult. New Orleans made me into a man, you know what I mean? I was born in Perth Amboy, New Jersey, raised in South Carolina in the country, you know what I mean?
Okay.
And I used to pick tobacco back in the G, you know what I mean? This is good old days.
Really?
That sun, you know what I mean? Good old times. I know that's very ironic, but it's beautiful. Life is beautiful. But I'm a cellist. Cello is my primary instrument. Multi-instrumentalist. I play bass as well, and I also compose, my feelings onto music, into the score, and that's what happens.
We're going to hear lots more about that because we've got an exciting performance coming up. And certainly last but not least, Miss Yemi Bolatiwa. Good evening.
Hi. Hello. How are you doing?
And introduce yourself.
Well, I think you might have just seen me up there. My name is Yemi Bolatiwa. I'm a singer, songwriter, I guess just a musician, primarily soul, but obviously all music has soul in it to an extent, so I don't like to just do soul music. I do a lot of different types of music, and yeah, from Manchester, live in Manchester. I've been here for 12 years. It's very much from where my heart is, but I am quite clearly a southerner, I think. So I'm from London originally, and yeah, I find myself here working with amazing musicians, and that's what's kept me here. I like to create and produce work and do all sorts of stuff outside of music as well, but yeah, I'm here about music.
and learning all about transferring those skills during lockdown. We find, don't we?
Yeah.
That's a little entree. Yemi and I had a chat a few weeks ago on my show, and we talked all about the work that she's been doing through lockdown, which obviously involved an awful lot of transferable skills, working out that, how are we going to make a living. That, I think, is a pretty good wrap-up of what's going to be going on today. I think that you can get the feeling here. We're not just talking about a bit of a dance and a bit of a song and a bit of a, music. We're talking about music coming from the soul, music coming from the heart, performance, word, all meaning something, all celebrating black excellence. And kicking off this exciting night, we are starting off with a piece that is entitled Strum. See, I talked about drumming, it's called Strum. And this is Seren Marimba and members of the Untold Orchestra together to perform this wonderful piece.
just reminiscing, regretting instead of forgetting somebody else. There'll be no one unless that someone is you. I intend to be independently blue. Say, hey, I want your love, don't want to borrow. Have it today, give back tomorrow. Your love is my love, there's no love for nobody else. Say, love me and leave me, let me be lonely. You won't believe me, but I love you only. I'd rather be lonely than happy with somebody else. You might find the nighttime the right time for kissing. Nighttime is my time for just reminiscing, regretting instead of forgetting to somebody else. There'll be no one less than someone is you. I intend to be independently blue. Say, hey, I want your love, don't want to borrow. Have it today, give back tomorrow. Your love is my love, there's no love for nobody else. Nobody
This piece is called Andante Moderato, which means walking pace. And this piece is dedicated in memoriam to all those who no longer walk with us. You see, lately a lot of people have been asking me to throw my hat in a ring when it comes to the issue of Black Lives Matter. And all I'm hearing is a lot of chitter chatter, a lot of nitter natter, people asking me about what I think, what I mean, what does it mean to be black? And as they sit there with their snap back, chatting chit chat. Well, I don't want to stand under the banner Black Lives Matter, because we used to be talking about black power, baby, and lately I've been asked to say that I can't breathe. Well, I can breathe. I can scream, I can shout. I'm the oldest of 5 sisters, and you see, what history's taught me is that when it comes to the Mr. Well, I'm not saying me too, I'm saying not you, I'm saying never again. Do you understand? Never again. On May the 23rd, 1968 at 12:15 a.m., a New York City Transit police officer shot to death a man, a poet, a social activist, a teacher. His name was Henry Dumas, and he was on his way home. These are his words. The universe shrank when you went away. Every time I thought your name, stars fell upon me. Well, here are a list of people who are no longer with us. George Perry Floyd, you should know his name. We shared the same birthday, October the 14th. Neon neck, asphyxiated to death by a Minneapolis police officer. Breonna Taylor, born 1993, the same year as me. 26 years old. What was she doing? Asleep at home, shot 8 times. Bismillah. Tamir Rice, you know his name, 12 years old, shot within 2 seconds by a Cleveland police officer. Akai Kareem Gurley, 28 years old, walking down the stairs in the building, New York City police officer. Tanisha N. Anderson, physically restrained, brute force by Cleveland police officers, died November 2014, 37 years old. Michael Brown Jr., 18 years old, walking with a friend, no charges ever brought. Victoria Steen, tasered and run over on October the 3, 2009 by a Pensacola police officer. Did you know that Greater Manchester Police has the highest use of taser discharge other than the Met? Disproportionately against black men. That's not poetry, that's a fact. Atasiana Jefferson, October the 12th, 2019, 2 days before my birthday last year, 28 years old. What was she doing at home? Shot for the window in front of her 8-year-old. Botham Shemjean, 26 years old, on his sofa at home eating ice cream, killed by a Dallas police officer. So many names, I don't have time to honour them all. Eric Garner, I can't breathe, I can breathe. Gabriela Monique Navarez no longer breathes, 22 years old, driving home. Citrus Heights police officers. There's just not enough names to honour in this piece. More names. More names, Bismillah, more names, bless you all, more names, more names. More names, more names, more names, more names. There isn't enough paper in the office to print off the list. Freddie Carlos Gray Jr., April 19th, 2015. He was 25 years old. He was in a police van and his spinal cord was nearly snapped. Died of brute force. Baltimore City police officers. Charlena Chavon Lyles, born April the 24th, 1987. Killed on June the 18th, 2017, 2 years ago. Shot by Seattle police officers. Last name I'll read. Fetus of Charlena Chavon Lyles. Died 14 to 15 weeks old in the belly. Shot on June the 18th by Seattle police officers. They can't breathe. I can breathe. Bismillah, inshallah, never again.
Yes, indeed, the very, very powerful words there of Jamil Keating. May we never forget, with a list of names of those who we have lost. This is, of course, Neamos. We are enjoying the event called Purpose, and I'm sat here on the couch with three of the performers. We have Not For Many over on the side, evening. And of course we have Gary, classical composer, and we have Yemi Bolatiwa, who is a singer. And I just wonder, you know, we've just witnessed the most beautiful performances, starting off with Strum, of course, talking about the strings of the instruments, not the drums that I got wrong before, but a wonderful piece of musical theatre fused with dance and acrobatics, which was just incredible. And the movement, I felt, was perfect to accompany what the orchestra were playing, and it really moved me. How did you guys feel about it? Yemi, you're nodding in agreement.
Yeah, it was just incredible. Like, I know Sarah anyway, and she's just an amazing performer, a very, very versatile performer, but the strength and like what she was showing there,
Absolutely.
and the drama, it was like, yeah.
That's what I felt. See, I don't know her, and I felt like I do now because I got that story, and it's our story, isn't it? Unfortunately.
Yeah.
Gary, what are you saying?
I think that, like, juxtaposed with the music, I've never seen anything like that before. First of all, juxtaposing what Saren was doing with the string quartet. I think it was beautiful how she was able to, like, listen to the music and interpret it, you know? I've never quite seen anything like that, in that when, like, you know, like a certain dramatic thing happened musically and she would go up on the rope and
Absolutely.
like shoom, and you know, like how it ended.
But you know what I found so powerful too? The stillness. The absolute stillness, just sort of riding on top of what the musicians were doing. Not For Many, what are you saying?
I mean, honestly, I really do think that performance speaks for itself. Do you know what I mean?
Yes.
Like, that is really, really deeply what I think above anything else
Yes.
that I could possibly say right now.
I feel proud. I absolutely feel proud. I mean, do you feel a sort of, does that sort of trickle through to you guys when you're watching something like this?
Yeah, definitely.
I mean, you know what? I can't tell you exactly how I feel right now. Do you know what I mean?
Because it's really moved you.
Yeah, I mean, and the settings as well.
Yeah.
You know where we are, so it's like I feel like that is powerful, and you know the settings that I mean.
Well,
like,
absolutely.
I'm here, innit? Look
Absolutely.
At the view. So I feel it's just intense. You get me?
Well, also
like,
you
it's
see,
real.
then
like you can't really just put it in a phrase like two twos like that.
No. I know it is. It's an emotion, isn't it? Really. And I think, you know, it moves them very beautifully. Then, of course, onto Mayisha and her interpretation and free dance. Absolute expressing joy, springing around the steps. I mean, it was gorgeous.
I have something interesting to say about that performance. I saw her choreograph that bit by bit, and the interesting thing about it is, you know, she incorporated. Okay, she is a very versatile dancer, right? She has ballet experience. She's contemporary. She has all these different influences, and when you watch it, right, there was a bit where she was doing like these ballet things.
Yes.
Because, like, you know, Nino wanted to be a concert pianist.
Of course.
So, you know, for her to incorporate that when she was in the solo bit, you know, it was just like, wow, she's bringing this element, and then she's bringing like the Broadway element, and then she's bringing this element, and it's like, you know, she understands. She did the research on Nina's life.
She's telling the same. She's
Right,
telling
the story, right?
Exactly.
And embodying what it's quite. I think that performance, like that piece that she created, it's stellar. Like, literally, like, I told her, I was like, yo, this is like brilliant.
Yeah, well, we'll wait for us to come back and then give her a much deserved round of applause.
Yes.
Because honestly,
Stellar.
for me, that's what I loved. I loved the stillness going from one to the other, and the deepness, the feeling. You sort of got into it quietly with Strum, and then it's like, hang on a minute, shake it all off.
Yeah,
Let's have
all
some
the
joy.
energy, yeah.
But hang on a minute, let me do this. Let me take you on a trip through Nina's life. And to do all of that in such a short space of time, I find remarkable. But of course, that's what you artists are all about, aren't you?
She's a dancer. That was quite a showcase of skill, to be honest. Like, yeah.
So inspiring.
Amazing. Yeah.
So inspiring. So inspiring.
Do you know something that Nina talks about? She basically said, you know, I talk about Nina as though she's my best friend, of course, Nina Simone, my best mate. But something that she always said is that you can't be an artist and not reflect the times that you're living in. And I just wonder for you guys, we're living in some rather testing times. Obviously, we've got COVID and the pandemic and the whole rules and regulations around that. We've got the time that COVID has given us, this isolation, time where we can sit and think and plan and do whatever. And then, of course, we've had the most horrendous atrocities taking place for black people this year. We had George Floyd, and immediately after George Floyd, we then had Raymond Blake, forgive me, I can't remember. Richard Brooks, Audrey. That's who we had. That was the gunshots in the in his back, and these are atrocities that we have had to watch, and yet we've seen a mass, I would say, coming together of people around the world, uniting and saying, enough is enough. This is not on. This is not good. This is what we must do. And it actually has, I would suggest, reignited, if you like, a bit of passion, if you like, underneath the Black Lives Matter movement. But then, of course, people will say, but hang on a minute, Audrey. Don't place everything in the context of Black Lives Matter. It's not just about Black Lives Matter. And here we are, we're in October, and it's Black History Month. And I just wonder whether or not this whole thing, this whole history thing, the stuff that I've just talked about, is actually a burden for you in your creativity. Or if it's a blessing for you in your creativity. I wonder how it takes you. I wonder where it takes you. Gary, you want to share something?
All right, so I'll start off by, I written a piece called the Black Transcendental Suite, and we're actually playing two movements from it. Within the Black, I'll tell you a bit about the Black Transcendental Suite, and then I'll get into basically, the burden. So basically, the first two movements are more traditional string quartet, just music, and then the next two movements has an MC. Maya was going to be featured in the movements that we're playing, not for Minnie. And the next two movements are more singer-songwriter. And then in the next movement, the seventh movement, it consists of 7 movements. It's more of like a, kind of like an elevation, like becoming one, well, I'll get back to that. So basically...
You're telling a story as well, aren't you?
Come again?
You're going through and telling a story.
Yeah, so basically, talking about burdens. So the first movement, it starts off how when you're a little kid, and, I know we're not playing the whole suite, but it's going to be out at the end of this month. A little shameless plug. Yeah, the first movement starts just very innocent, very beautiful, F major, but then it starts taking these dodgy turns and it starts getting really dark, introducing the fact that, well, maybe life isn't so great. Maybe I should be afraid when I see the cops. But you're a kid, what do you know? All of a sudden, everyone has their first instance where, well, I know in America where the cops come and they have their guns and they have all this and they like, hey, I'm gonna find a felon on you, And then not only that, the whole part of being a black man in a world that sees you as less than, that is a real thing. So when I write music, when I wrote the Black Transcendental Suite, I was literally depressed writing bits, especially the second movement, because so much emotion I was putting into it, so many things that happened to me that I'm not really going to go into detail, but just literally just getting in tears, you know what I mean? Difficult, like can't sleep, can't eat, literally like reliving moments. But the interesting thing about the Black Transcendental Suite is that it's transcendental. So how did our ancestors come from Africa, right? To Americas and all over the world to be taken advantage of, how is it that you're able to sing songs and smile, and it's transcendental, like feeling that energy and passing it down? Black people historically have always been transcendental through music, through dance, through spirituality. That transcendental spirit brings joy, true joy. So within the music, I also put in that joy, you know what I mean, that brought us through from the atrocities. So there are moments where I laughed and smiled because, like, wow, how is it that we have been beaten and tortured, but yet we smile, we persevere. It's like, that's strength right there. You know, that's power. So writing the music, there's this.
Absolutely. I think what is so difficult, and I think what is so difficult to kind of portray, is that this thing that we're talking about here, we all know, we all feel, and it is actually something that is tangible. Mm-hmm. And getting that out and expressing that, you know, is actually quite difficult, and it's something that is with us always. It's kind of with us first and foremost, you know. Yes. A very good friend of mine, in fact, one of the media experts in Manchester, Charles Lauder, he talks about black people, and he made a comparison, and he basically said that, you know, you could take any sort of, I'm going to use the word hobo, if you like, to make it obvious what I'm saying, on the street, anybody, and you can wash and brush up, you can put them in a suit and a tie and a shirt, and they become a respectable person to all intents and purposes. You can take a black person and still wash and brush up, they are still a black person, and first and foremost. And it's a weird kind of story, and perhaps I've done Charles a disservice, but that is the point. This is something that we have as a consequence of life, and yet we find ourselves having now, especially at this time, having to explain. Yemi, how are you doing in all of this? I know you've been doing loads of work actually around anti-racism, haven't you, following the
I wouldn't say loads, but no, I've definitely I got the fire in my belly when the resurgence happened after the protest, and I just realised that for the last 15 years I don't really speak about my blackness. It's taken me for the last 2 or 3 years of my life to become more proud of that, and then once I got this kind of instigated in me, I was like, I need to do something, because I'm a doer, I'm an executor, I like to do things, I like to make things. So I've been doing like closed conversations with people at home in a thing called the Race Exchange, which is like basically where we all kind of random people. I said it was like one of these things where I just said, look, email me if you're interested and I'll put you into groups and we'll have some closed conversations. I'm experienced in facilitation and trying to get people to talk without judgment, and in a confessional space that was safe and open, and I got a great response. I ran 6 workshops, if you want to call it that. I think it's 6 conversations, and I've been putting them on YouTube, and just the amount of things that have been coming out from people's experiences that they've never said before until now, and stuff like that, and me, even myself, like sharing stories that I've kind of repressed and didn't want to make out it was a problem, because you kind of like, there's one side of you because I don't want to like pretend that race is a problem. I just want to like get on with my life and thingy, but then you just realise we have to talk about it, so it is no longer a problem. If we don't talk about it, then that's the problem in the first place. Do you know what I mean? Like, if we can't even speak about it, then how is it ever going to go away? And that was the big thing I took, and then doing some stuff with Stand Up to Racism in the last couple of months. So, yeah, it really, really definitely lit a fire in me, and I'm guessing it's because I had the time during lockdown. I guess it's so it all happened because of lockdown. Would we have protested if we had our normal lives? We don't really know, but we have to take the moment as it was, and I'm feeling very productive with it, and I'm feeling very ready to kind of just embed this whole anti-racism discussion as part of my life, accept it as part of my life, and allow it to kind of, I don't know, be freed. Just be freed by this, and be like, okay, cool, we can talk about this, and we can kind of help to push it away.
Absolutely. I think the thing that is beautiful with you artists, of course, is that you do have the opportunity to turn all of that feeling, emotion, raw, pain, love, everything into performance, into music. And I think it's about time that we actually heard you were talking about this transcendental stuff in terms of what you're doing. You know, it has been traumatic, George Floyd, and the implications of George Floyd, and the implications of what it's going to take to actually bring about a change. It has been traumatic, and people are suffering. People are talking, but people are suffering. But there is a great move, I think, to want to redress this, and you know, in any way in which we can. And as I say, obviously, we're going to hear what you've done with your Transcendental classical music suite. I mean, is it a big deal for a black guy to be doing classical music?
Well, so classical music, right?
All right, it's chamber music. Shall I say chamber composition? Is that better?
Well, so classical, right, is, for me, when I definitely love classical music, but like, I don't consider myself, like, I play classical music, but I don't consider myself like a classical composer per se. But I love classical music.
Sure.
But
this is described as a chamber piece, isn't it?
Chamber, yeah, chamber music, definitely.
All right. So we're going to hear it?
Yeah, let's do it. I'm excited.
I don't know if we carry, it's all quite loose this, so whilst you walk over there, this is called the Black Transcendental Suite, and it is being performed, it's a string quartet, and yeah, that is Gary walking over there to lead them.
What you know about Afrobeat, kids dancing on streets. Just me, blasting from the house music, sis was a G. Still his big team, yeah, I'm fried on repeat. Ma says, hope you get what you seek. Ready for a feast, been dinner too long, coming as a beast. Drink stout heavy on scene, hung mind everywhere to be. Stood next to them.
Love, love, love.
Hey.
It's flowing out through my veins.
Issue with the sound. Yo, what you know about an Afro beat? Kids dancing on streets, wasn't just me. Blasting from the house, music sis was a G. Still his big team, yeah, I'm fry on repeat. Ma says, hope you get what you seek. Ready for a feast, been dinner too long, now I'm coming as a beast. Drink stout, heavy on scene, on mind everywhere to be like. Stood next to African trees, shaking off mango was a dream. As you know, it gets cold, need cream, and that's reality. Now I had to grab a seat. High life and then I felt clean. So I was about before I couldn't do no meet and greet. Felt low, but now it ain't peak. Just a hungry brother, let me eat, yeah. Sure, I could do it for myself if I... I could do it by myself. Sure, I could do it for myself. If I had the right team, I would really love the help. Looking at me, strange pressure waiting for the bell. Is it gonna be solo? Hope at some point they'll join. Got caught in the rain, but came back to vibes. Enjoy it for a minute, man, just sit down, remain. The right team of people that really can stay. Maybe someday. No dots, still ain't missing them frets. Nearly hit a lick, but I thought not yet. Guitar talk, never mind, let's step. Sort out the hair in the mirror, well kept. Already seen agendas with people I ain't met.
Ladies and gentlemen, we introduce these, we all know, we know these cats up here. We know these cats. These cats are wonderful. Mayo and Yemi, wonderful people. But the string quartet, ladies and gentlemen. Our first violin, Nadia. On second violin, Katie. Sophia is on the viola. And I'm on the cello.
Gary Washington!
We call ourselves the Black Transcendental Quartet. So we're gonna play one more movement from. So this music is from a collection of movements from the Black Transcendental Suites. This is the third and fourth movement. Yeah, it's gonna be out at the end of this month. So.
Still sign the contracts, moving it good, make an impact. G said kill a track, let it run back. Glitch in the system with the rhythms that you run back. It came like pressure, measure, run back. Same mega, new threshold, old one fade henna. Touch mic, turn hype, that's true, eh.
Tired of being afraid. We were made to break this chain.
True, brother, I'm waiting what you say next move. Blessed with a storm, hit city typhoon. Don't ever fit the norm, stay alive in this loop. Red, black, green is the colours I choose. Use, got the mojo working as blues. Banks only if the jungle approves. Stay with gorillas, don't care what you do. Africano 2 layers, don't care if it's June. Bringing out Raph, making myself laugh. Show tooth gap when the reach got a clap. When the reach got clapped, my man nigga cousin is a uni makes apps. Next Steve Jobs, black man, I said that. When you hear not thought it's so loving as gas. Wizard in the studio, you must know pabs. Anyway, okay, pen game is clay. Brother said soon reach, but it never came close.
Made to break this chain.
and absolutely wonderful. We have just been treated to some beautiful, beautiful performances. Sat over there on the couch, Mayisha, who has just absolutely blown us away with an improvisation dance to the music by our wonderful composer Gary. What did you two guys do? What did you do? Did you send each other the music and did you tell him what you were thinking of doing? How does it work?
I think it's a bit more organic than that.
Sometimes.
Sometimes, yeah.
Okay.
So a lot of it is by ear, and something that Gary has taught me a lot about is understanding the feel. So not necessarily a specific rhythm, but just understanding the groove and the way that the music works, and then just playing within that, the structure that already exists, and whatever feels best, really, in the moment.
We were talking about your dance before, the first piece that you did, and obviously that was in great contrast to the first piece that we saw, which was strum, and what we talked about in strum was the stillness. And then you came and you exploded onto the scene, but more importantly, it just exuded joy. And that is a joy that I think Mayisha is coming from within. That's not that, and it was there as well in that improvised thing. It's almost like it doesn't matter what anybody's doing to this girl. She's going to get out there and she's going to give it her all from inside. Is that about right? Would you say?
I think that's about right now, but it's definitely been a journey.
Okay.
I feel like for a lot of my life, I've tried to squeeze myself into smaller spaces, and all my life, and it still happens now, people are saying, oh, have you got that energy? Or, oh, not until I've had my coffee.
Yes.
And it's taken me a long time to realise that actually my exuberance is, other people see it maybe as a mirror, so it's not actually a problem that my energy is this big.
I see.
And so it's taken me so now I'm sort of celebrating my energy, I suppose.
It's really interesting you describe it like that, because I think what you're getting at in a nutshell there is something that does affect black people all the time, and that is being who they want us to be.
Yeah.
And I think one of the big things about this kind of, I'm going to call it this, should we call it a push or a reminder of how far we've got to go, is the fact that we are saying, actually, no, this is me as I am now, and actually that's good enough. Yemi, is that something that resonates with you?
Oh gosh, 100%, yeah. I mean, like, it's simple aesthetic things, and I think it's easy to talk about aesthetic things because people can see them. I don't need to go too deep to come out with something, but like, me sitting here with a head wrap on my head, very badly put together, I must say. I'm sorry.
Don't think so.
It looks great.
But
Good.
I know 3 or 4 years ago, I would have said that's too black, don't do that, in my head.
Yeah.
Right, no, definitely did that for a long time, and that's is what it is. I don't see it as a negative thing anymore because I've grown from that, but it was something that I used to think I don't want to come across as too, and now I wear as exuberant, bright colours, to say your word, as I like, because it genuinely is just how I am, and I'm not saying anyone in particular has made me feel that way, but it's definitely a societal, global issue with having to restrain your blackness, definitely. And yeah, so now I sit here quite proudly being as black as I want to be. It doesn't have to be too much, doesn't have to be too little, like, just, yeah.
There is such a responsibility though with it all, because conversely, whilst we can talk about being squashed into this narrow little pigeonhole, there's also a push from within for who we should be. Me sitting here, for example, with my hair like this isn't black enough. Now, to me, you see, that isn't about a blackness, that's just about a nonsense. Because as far as I'm concerned, I will do whatever I want to do, regardless. And if I want to do my hair like this, it will be like this. And if I don't want to do my hair like this, it won't be. That does not mean that I am not black. That does not make me any less black. And I think that is something that whilst there is this, we're talking about being squashed into pigeonholes by others, I would suggest we're also kind of squashed into pigeonholes by ourselves. Is that something that you would have seen? And does that even, how does that play out in music and in performance?
Well, it's interesting, like, so the music, the Black Transcendental Suite, just to use as an example,
Yes.
because we just played those movements. Those movements within the suite were like more hip hop, you know. But if I take it to like in circles where classical circles predominate, where it's like the first two movements are more like, oh, okay, I can get with this. It's like more traditional quartet sound. And you get to the third movement, it's like, wait a minute, there's a rapper on it? This
Okay.
isn't a traditional
Okay.
classical, like, way it's supposed to be. You know what I mean? And it's like, but it's just who I am, you know? Like, I'm not trying to be this or that. I'm just being who I am. And I have all these influences that I want to bring to the table. So I do feel that pressure of like, you know, man, like, take these movements away and just only like have it be this or do that. And it's just like, man, like, this is just who I am. Like, I'm all of this. And I
Yeah.
just want to.
And you should be able to portray all of that. Not for many. How about you? You were performing in there.
Yeah.
What are you saying in all of this?
I think, like, blackness is obviously not a monolith in it, and when you're black, you actually know that. Do you know what I mean? But and you can do whatever you want. Do you know what I mean? Like, cause no one can. I mean, it's one of them, innit? Like, some people are going to be educated enough to understand that you can do whatever you want, and some people aren't, and that's just our conditioning. Do you know what I mean?
Okay,
Obviously-
but you're a young guy and you're standing up there and you're chatting or toasting or speaking.
Right.
What are you saying? I mean, it's
Honestly,
you're
like,
doing it, but
yeah.
it's not so easy for everybody to do it, is it?
Well, can I just speak on this for a minute? Because something that you
Yeah.
started talking about earlier when we first all came back round was hair, and I know that's a part of a wider conversation, but if I just take that as an example, it's not necessarily, like you say, about a push to conform from any particular community. It's about widening the framework of all of our understanding so that there's room for choice and that nobody's going to be derogatory towards anybody else for
Oh,
their
absolutely,
choices. So I
absolutely.
think that's really where the broadening comes in, and that example was hair, but like another example would be with the music, to be able to have like multiple genres in
Sure.
one piece, and for that to be a part of our true expression, especially as black people that are part of a diaspora. You know, there's all sorts of different influences that have come into all of our work, you know. So I just think it's that's for me that's the way that I like to understand it. It's about diversifying choice rather than changing the binary of what is and isn't acceptable.
Yeah, absolutely. I don't know what this is. No, I don't know if I'm supposed to do. Okay, so all right. Widening the choices. I think that's something that is important, not just for us as black people. It's important for us going out delivering this message in terms of who and what we are. And obviously, we're here at the Near Centre, and you know, the Near Centre here, the whole point of this thing, it was all about purpose. It was all about creating something for the community. It was all about working together, facilitating, presenting things with people, for people, what they want. How does that resonate with you and where we are today? I mean, obviously we're all sat here at Neamos, but how does it resonate with you? If I start with you, perhaps Yemi, as to the purpose and reasoning for all of this.
So, do you mean like how does this venue kind of...
Well, the whole point of it is supposed to be a jewel in the crown, and it's a hub, and the idea is it to bring the community back together, and from here people start to work together and say this is who and what we are, and so on and so forth.
Well, the vision is here, isn't it? Like 2.5 years ago when it opened, there was just so much to do and so so far to go, but they had the vision, and now it's pretty much a production centre right now during a pandemic. Like, it's a literal hub for arts and creativity, a lifeline for a lot of people who wouldn't have anything else to do. So, gosh, yeah, just it speaks for itself. This interview, this happening right now, goes to show why it's so important that this even relaunched, reopened, and it's kind of only the start, really. It's been held back by the pandemic, but actually there's been some positives that have come out of it, which is things like this. So, yeah, it's just it's an honour to be part of it, and I'm just excited to just keep seeing it grow and develop and more things happen.
We're excited to seeing you grow and develop, because it's your turn for singing again, Yemi, so it's time that we hear from you.
Yeah,
so thank you very much.
Thank you.
Going to be singing some Nina Simone songs.
gifted and black. Oh, what a lovely, precious dream to be young, gifted and black. Open your heart to what I mean. In the whole world, you know, there's a million boys and girls who are young, gifted and black, and that's a fact. Ooh, to be young, gifted and black, we must begin to tell our young times. When I look back, yours is the quest that's just begun. When you're feeling real low, there's a great truth that you should know. When you're young, gifted and black, your soul's intact. Oh, to be young, gifted and black, we must begin to tell the truth. There are times when I look back and I am haunted by my youth. Oh, but my joy of today is that we can all be proud to say, to be young, gifted and black. That's where it's at. That's where it's at. That's where it's at. Baby, you understand me now. Sometimes you see that I'm mad. Don't you know no one alive can always be an angel? When everything goes wrong, you'll see some bad. But I'm just a soul whose intentions are good. Oh Lord, please don't let me be misunderstood. You see, sometimes, baby, I'm so carefree, with a joy that's hard to hide. And sometimes again I see that all I have is worry, and then you're bound to see my other side. But I'm just a soul whose intentions are good. Oh Lord, please don't let me be misunderstood. If I seem edgy, I want you to know I never meant to take it out on you. Life has its problems, and I get more than my share, and that's one thing I never mean to do, 'cause I love you. Oh, baby, I'm just human. Don't you know I have faults like anyone? And sometimes I find myself alone, regretting some little foolish thing, some simple thing that I've done. But I'm just a soul
And well, here we are back at Nearmos for the last little segment of this splendid celebration of black excellence. It's called Purpose. The night is called Purpose. This place is called Nearmos. We've taken near, obviously, that means purpose. You, Yemi, have just treated us to 3 of Nina Simone's songs, and obviously, when this centre was opened originally in 1990, it was opened by Nina Simone. I did have the pleasure of looking after her and doing the press and publicity at that time. But I was a young girl then. If Nina were coming back to Nearmos now, it would be a very, very different story. The streets would be paved with gold. She is somebody who was unequivocally black, and she was also somebody who didn't make speeches. Her activism was all through her music and the interviews, indeed, that she did with people. And, you know, I mentioned it before, and I was talking about this responsibility, if you like, this burden, perhaps, or blessing that we have as black people to tell our story. What does Nina mean for you? Gary, I'm going to start with you. What does Nina mean for you?
Well, for me personally, what Nina does for me and what she means to me is basically like an inspiration to do the art that I feel is important and be unapologetic about it. You know, just be free, be real, be honest. And that's pretty much for the most part it.
Honesty, absolutely. Yemi.
It's so hard to remove myself because obviously over the last year and a half or over a few different performances I've been so ingrained and like learned so much about her music. But I guess like one simple thing I could say is that she's just given me, she's made me realise a resonance in my voice, a depth in my voice I didn't ever really explore before. And it made me appreciate this kind of very rich alto sound. You know, when you're a singer, sometimes you're always trying to be mezzo, soprano, soprano. You're always trying to go up there. And what learning her music has made me realise is that just sit there in your chest where it feels comfortable and belt it out and do that. And that's the power and that's the strength and that's the talent. And yeah, so I think that's what I'd say.
Absolutely. You know, you're talking about the strength of her music and her ballads, and you look at her ballads and the way that she sings her ballads. Obviously, she's talking about love, she's talking about life, she's talking about loss. She was actually, I think, raising the banner for women before feminism was a big deal. But she certainly does that not just with the fast stuff like Cinnamon and Mississippi Goddamn. You take a ballad, something like Wild is the Wind, and that's where you hear the resonance in the voice. That's where you hear it opening out and belting out and that whole beauty, that whole warmth. Mayisha, how about you? What's Nina saying to you?
So there's a couple of things. Firstly, I'd just like to reflect on what Yemi was saying about sitting in that sort of alto place and the resonance, and I've definitely found that when I've been listening to the music, Nina's music, that's something that I'm not a singer, but I feel physically in my body. There's no it's not a condition that you have to do everything up and rising and jumping higher. Like the ground is equally as important, and actually that's where you pull the power from, you know, like from the roots, and that's what can send you up, and that's part of the uplift. So I think we've definitely got something similar there. Something that I really think about when I listen to Nina's music, and something that I really feel, is her willingness to be vulnerable. Sometimes when she's singing, it sounds like she's crying.
Absolutely.
So she's revealing herself in a way that lots of people often wouldn't. And to be that raw is very inspiring because it's deeply connecting, because it shows us that we all go up and down in our lives. It's not perfect all the time. And actually that sometimes those places of darkness or those places of suffering are of value and are a resource that you can create from. So that's really what I get when I listen to her voice. And the dance that I did this evening was actually to Nina singing from the recording of her. in the Nyawira. So that's a nice little loop that came back round. And the first track is a little remix, also using that recording, made by Kiva, who's I think a founding member of Kungu. So that's again another connection. That
But isn't it so
cycle.
wonderful that we can do this, that we can take something that was done.
Yeah.
I mean, Nina was doing her stuff obviously the 60s and then throughout, and you know, carried on to the 80s. But it is bearing so much resonance today. And I love the things that have been picked up in this conversation. For me, for Nina, because number one, it's about her vulnerability. Number two, it's about exposing her true feeling. Number three, it's about saying, hang on a minute, we're all the same, please treat us all the same. And then number four, it's just a brilliant musicianship, of course. And the joy that I find with Nina Simone is every week I find another track to fall in love with. The one that's doing it for me now is Tomorrow It's My Turn. And let's hope that tomorrow it is my turn. But seriously, she brings so much to the table. And the fact that, you know, you young guys are taking it in 1920 and doing your own twist on it, I think is just absolutely beautiful. Something that happened with Nina is she was wildly misunderstood. Obviously, we've got the track, Don't Let Me Be Misunderstood. And that is something that happens not just with black women, it's something that happens with black people when we do speak out. And, you know, once again, I will say we're in Black History Month, and we've had the atrocities this year, and we've had this big push for the Black Lives Matter movement. Do you think now it is our moment, and do you feel inspired and encouraged to use your art to carry forward what must be, which is we've got to all be treated the same and enough is enough? Mayisha, you? What are you saying?
I think it's definitely a push, like you were saying, but I would not necessarily say it's our moment, because then I feel like the work is done and that it's over and there's this big ta-da. But actually, I think it keeps going.
When I say our moment, I mean it's our moment where we are not going to allow it to lie dormant. Mm-hmm. We are actually speaking out.
Yeah.
That is something that has been different this time. It's like the taps have been opened. Mm-hmm. And everybody is saying, no, hang on a minute. I don't care if this is complicit. I'm not doing it anymore. This is me. Yeah. So that's what I mean more about our moment, Mayisha. I don't mean it's the end, because obviously
we've made it, guys.
Absolutely not. Unfortunately, it's the beginning.
Yeah.
But it's important. I feel it's important that we've got this energy now and at this time.
Yeah. I think the energy is definitely fantastic, and I think we're all really coming together really strongly and learning lots more about healing. And I think with every generation, you can heal some more. And some of that ancestral trauma is maybe removed with each generation. So I just think long may it continue, and may we continue to weave creativity and sensuality and artistry and creativity into all the generations that continue after us. That's why it's
I'm glad you said sensuality, because one of the tracks that you're going to be singing, Yemi, is my probably second favourite at the moment of Nina Simone, and that is For Women. And I think that is probably one of the most sensuous songs. And it's the dichotomy of what she's actually singing about with the groove and the movement and the music. To me, it is just beautiful. So, we have that to look forward to. And I just need to say to all of you, thank you very, very much indeed for sharing a very small part of your artistry with us this evening. We have got a long ways to go, but I think we have all recognised that we're pushing together, and certainly listening to you guys, it's like we're ready for the off. Mm-hmm. As our visiting American, sorry to put this on you, but it is an important time of year. Obviously, you guys are voting in November. You know what I've been going on about, has been going on in the UK. Mm-hmm. How are you feeling about it as an American citizen?
About like
life, the reality of black life, because that's what we've all been talking about. It's like, this is what it's like being black in Britain, actually. No, that atrocity that happened in America, that wasn't just America. This is the reality of life for an awful lot of black people worldwide.
Yeah, I feel that sometimes I feel hopeless, honestly. Sometimes I feel defeated. Sometimes I feel uplifted. Sometimes I feel like I have power and we can change this. So it's definitely like a back and forth, because when I feel that power, it's like, oh man, this is great. I'm writing this music, and all of a sudden you watch the news or something may happen to me. Like, you know, particularly in America, it's, from my experience, it's very aggressive. You know, like cops will come with their guns pointed at you. You know what I mean? I've had that happen to me.
No, I don't know what you mean, and this is the truth. I don't know what you mean. I've never had a gun pointed at me.
Well, they will, you know. It's you can literally lose your life, like, and like knowing you walking through the street. Like in England, I feel really safe because it's like, yeah, I can probably get tased, but although I know a tase can kill you, although I know that, it's different from when you can see a gun visible, and they can just pull it out and just shoot you, and like it's frightening, you know. It's really frightening.
I think that is the huge difference between the UK and America, in actual fact. The fact that is what you see. It's and kind of don't shoot, isn't it?
And they pull the trigger so quick, you know. It's like I don't know if they're afraid or if I don't know what it is with the police. They just, like, I don't know what it is. It's like, we're humans, you know. Like, you have kids, you have family members. It's like, what if someone did that to your family member? You know what I mean? Like,
I think when it's broken down and you start talking like that, you realise the actual humanity in all of this, and that's when you're thinking to yourself, no, let's step it up, let's step it up. Right. And that's what we're doing, that's what you're doing, that's what we're all doing. Yemi, it's time for you to do it in song. And once again, the three of you, thank you very, very much indeed for sharing part of your story.
This song is called For Women. My skin is black. My arms are long. My hair is woolly. My back is strong. Strong enough to take the pain inflicted again and again. What do they call me? My name is Aunt Sarah. My name is Aunt Sarah. Aunt Sarah. you. My mouth like wine. Whose little girl am I? Anyone who has money to buy. What do they call me? My name is Sweet Thing. Is tan. My hair is long. Between two worlds, I do belong. My father was rich and white. He forced my mother late one night. What do they call me? My name is Saffronia. My name is Saffronia. Is brown. My manner is tough. I'll kill the first mother I see. My life has been rough. I'm awfully bitter these days because my parents were slaves. What do they call me? My name is Peaches. Thank you, sporadic audience. The next song we're going to do is a slightly different feel. It's called Mississippi Goddamn. Alabama's gotten me so upset. Tennessee made me lose my rest. And everybody knows about Mississippi, goddamn. Alabama's gotten me so upset. Tennessee made me lose my rest. And everybody knows about Mississippi, goddamn. Can't you see it? Can't you feel it? It's all in the air. I can't stand the pressure much longer. Somebody say a prayer. Alabama's gotten me so upset. Tennessee made me lose my rest. And everybody knows about Mississippi. Goddamn. Hound dogs on my trail, school children sitting in jail, black cat crossed my path. I think every day's gonna be my last. Lord have mercy on this land of mine. We're all gonna do it in good time. I don't belong here, I don't belong there. I've even stopped believing in prayer. Don't tell me, I'll tell you. Me and my people are just about due. I've been there, so I know. They keep on saying, go slow. But that's just the trouble. Washing the windows, picking the cotton. You're just plain rotten. You're too damn lazy. Thinking's crazy. Where am I going? What am I doing? I don't know. Just try to do your very best. Stand up, be counted with all the rest. 'Cause everybody knows about Mississippi. Goddamn. Picket lines, school boycotts. They try to say it's a communist plot. All I want is equality for my sister, my brother, my people, and me. Yes, you lied to me all these years. You told me to wash and clean my ears and talk real fine, just like a lady, and you'd stop calling me Sister Sadie. Oh, but this whole country is full of lies. You're all gonna die and die like flies. I don't trust you anymore. You keep on saying, go slow. But that's just the trouble. Desegregation, mass participation, reunification. Do things gradually, bring more tragedy. Why don't you see it? Why don't you feel it? I don't know. You don't have to live next to me. Just give me my equality. 'Cause everybody knows about Mississippi. Everybody knows about Alabama. Everybody knows about Mississippi. Goddamn. That's it. Well, that's not quite it. We do have one more song, and it's a song that I think most people are familiar with. Cinnamon. Without further ado, let's do it. Oh, Cinnamon, where you gonna run to? Cinnamon, where you gonna run to? Where you gonna run to? On that day, so I run to the rock to the rock. Please hide me, I run to the rock. Please hide me down all on that day. But the rock cried out, I can't hide you. The rock cried out, I can't hide you. The rock cried out, I ain't gonna hide you down all on that day. I say, rock, what's the matter with you, rock? Don't you see I need you, rock? Lord, 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 all on that day. But the rock cried out, I can't hide you. The rock cried out, I can't hide you. The rock cried out, I can't hide you here all on that day. So I run to the river, he was bleeding. I run to the sea, he was bleeding. I run to the sea, it was bleeding all on that day. So I run to the river, it was boiling. I run to the sea, it was boiling. I run to the river, it was boiling all on that day. So I ran to the Lord, I said, help me, Lord. Don't you see me praying? Don't you see me down here praying? But the Lord said, go to the devil. The Lord said, go to the devil. He said, go to the devil all on that day. So I ran to the devil, he was waiting. I ran to the devil, he was waiting. I ran to the devil, he was waiting all on that day. I cried, power, 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 kingdom, kingdom, power, power. Oh yeah, oh yeah, oh yeah. So I ran to the river,